To go to our bench racing hotline, where we are joined by a young man that has been on the show many, many times, and always happy to hear his comments on the world of racing. A racing columnist, a novelist, a troubadour, and a man about town. Monte Dutton joins us. Hey, Monte, welcome back to the show.
I thought you were going to do what David Letterman always does and says, the lovely, the talented. You know.
We'll save that one up for next time.
I would go with the talented part. Lovely, yeah. You're not my type.
Yes, Letterman often uses that satirically.
So you wrote a little ditty about Joey Logano, and I know we talked to you last time you were on the show, and after a win, did your impression of Joey Logano, has it changed at all since he got a win? Since he seems to have kind of maybe found his niche maybe at Penske Racing?
I don't think it's changed radically. He won the race, and I thought, and my chief thought about it was, I got to reminiscing about how Jeff Gordon was back in 1993. And so I think that what I was trying to basically say with the blog is that I see signs that the kid's growing up, you know, because I think that I've probably said on the show earlier that I thought that Logano had a career that he was brought along given every advantage money could buy, but when he got there, you know, he had an upbringing, such a sheltered upbringing, homeschooled, just, you know, everything revolving around racing, that I thought that he had everything it takes except the toughness. And so I think he's starting to develop that. He's going from being kind of a punk to being a guy who learns the give and take. And so I'm impressed. I'm not predicting he really is going to wind up being, you know, having the record that Jeff Gordon did, but I was just reminiscing because I've seen how far Gordon has gone during the time that I've known him. And so that's what that's what my reflection was watching Logano win on Sunday.
Monte, Roger Penske's given an awful lot of credit for being this, I don't know, this benevolent.
Well,
you know, how much credit
as Roger Penske does, you're not too damn benevolent.
No, well, exactly. But that's you know what I'm saying. It's always written that he, you know, Roger's going to take him under his shoulder, under his wing.
He brings the best out of the talent that he has with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that I had actually had somebody who commented on my blog last week, and who wrote me and asked, why is it that Penske's so much better than the Roush teams? And I just wrote back and I said, number one, because Roger Penske is better than most teams in whatever he does.
Right, exactly.
Number two, he won last year and he was the whole Dodge operation.
Right.
And number three, shifting from one manufacturer to another isn't the adjustment it used to be. Even though the cars look a little different now, for instance, the engines are much closer to each other. Almost, I mean, incredibly closer when you consider, you know, the days when the Chryslers ran Hemis and the Fords had the 427s. And so, I mean, everything is much closer now, and it's easier to make a transition. So the best, you know, why is the best Chevy team Hendrick? Because the best Chevy team's Hendrick. Roger Penske has always given his teams the resources it needs, but there's a lot of teams that have resources. Penske's reputation is getting the best out of them as well.
Yep.
Is Roger Penske? I guess I don't want to. Yeah, I guess I will. Is there a tier there in your mind as far as owners go? And is it Penske, Joe Gibbs, Hendrick? Do you see a group of these guys and where they rate as far as who you'd want to work for? I guess.
Well, sometimes where they rate and where I'd want to work for are two different things. Because Chad Knaus would probably rate number one as a crew chief, but he would rate way down the list of who I'd want to work for.
Right.
But I mean, it'd be almost nightmarish for me. No, and I mean, I think that basically those ratings are what you see in the statistics. You know, they do go up and down. Roush has years where he's up at the top and he falls off a little bit. Richard Childress has been that way. We shouldn't forget the fact that Roger Penske never won a Cup championship until last year and had been trying for a long time. And until recently, his stock car operation was by far the least successful of his great motorsports empire. So that varies from year to year. But, I mean, I think that you've got to say that year in, year out, you have to rate Hendrick at the top.
We're talking to Monte Dutton. And, Monte, you're talking about owners who have motorsports empires. We've switched to a team that's not been very successful lately in NASCAR, and that's Chip Ganassi. There's a big change there with Montoya not coming back next year. We don't know where Juan's going yet. I don't know that that's going to matter much to NASCAR fans.
I just saw something on. I just saw a story on that I linked to on Twitter that says that the word in IndyCar is that Montoya is more affordable than they thought.
Huh?
That he might be willing to make a deal. I suspect that Montoya will get an excellent NASCAR ride every time there's a road race.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that if I were a betting man, sports car racing in America is merging into one organization, and I think that there's a lot of value in Montoya is trying to make him the big star that they can, hike the popularity of sports car racing through him. When they now don't have two series, but they're transitioning into that, and so that's my guess. But Montoya, I certainly don't think Montoya's. I think Montoya's days as a Formula One driver are over, but I wouldn't doubt. He could have a dynamic presence in Indy cars. So I expect that the stock car, I mean, he could get a ride, but I don't think he could get a ride good enough. I mean, I don't think he could get a ride better than the one he's leaving. And so, I mean, that's just I might be wrong. I'm not close to the situation.
I had read that Montoya is interested in, he wants to win. I mean, everybody wants to win, but he wants to go someplace where he can dominate. He doesn't just want to have a chance to win. He wants to dominate. And I had said earlier in the show that I thought the place to go for him to dominate is just as you said, sports cars going to get, it sounds like it's going the right way finally. I mean, Steve and I are big sports car racing fans, and he could
he wins the Daytona 24 about every year.
Yeah, and he could be the guy. He could be that guy.
He could be the face.
Yeah, he could be.
Well, they said that about NASCAR too. I mean, it's always amazing to me. One of my biggest observations about life is that most times the mistake is because people take the same policy that we use toward buffaloes in the West. We kill them till they're dead. and so I think that's what happens when, you know how the stock market has a big bubble and everybody starts investing in things that aren't planning on making a profit for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it explodes and everybody loses everything. And you could really just see it coming. Have you ever noticed how the very moment they start telling you on commercials that you have to buy gold, it's when gold drops down,
Yeah.
So I think that people's greed always leads them toward mistakes. And so I think that it's just like, okay, here's a good example. Right now, Daytona is dismantling 70,000 seats. Mm-hmm. And right now they're saying, well, it's just not realistic to expect crowds of more than 100,000 nowadays. Well, how about those far-sighted people who put them up?
Yeah. Where are they working today?
Back then they said, oh, we'd be fooled. See, what happened was it was get while the getting's good. Mm-hmm. Stock car racing is hot. We're going to push it. We're going to get Montoya. We're going to have all these things come in. We're going to make the cars just alike so we don't have to mess with them because there won't be any controversies about technical things. And we're going to gear this whole thing. We're going to run the NFL out of business.
Uh-huh. I remember that quote.
that whole attitude is the reason that, by its very nature, the bottom has to fall out. Mm-hmm. And so you just have to. Hindsight's always 20/20, but the trouble is that the people who are doing what's next, they always think they're so smart, and they think there's no way it can fail, and things do fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know one of the things that you've had a little more time to do is do some more singing and playing, writing. Talk about some of the stuff that is on Monte Dutton's plate right now.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm feeling a little bit guilty. I've been playing music locally every other week at this little jam session we have, but but I haven't been writing as many. I haven't written many songs lately because I've been sort of obsessed with getting this next novel out, and it's going to be out October 25th, and it's called The Intangibles, and it's about a southern town, the year the schools were integrated, and the high school football program, and it's full of it's an ultimately uplifting story, but it's not without a heavy cost. And so I'm writing a third novel, the one after that, and I'm trying like crazy to get through the first draft before I start the next editing process in the new one. And then, of course, there's the one that I've still got out. So I'm keeping myself busy, but I'm sort of making an investment that I hope that when the fall comes, this will all come to fruition. Or if not, I might be trying to get an insurance license. But I've been very busy. I've been working on something to help the local high school program, just producing a little brochure to raise money because the stadium is in great need of renovation. So I'm keeping myself busy. I'm just not making a living yet, but I've got big plans.
All right. Well, like us all, I guess that's one thing.
Check out MonteDutton.com, because about half the time I write about racing, but about half the time I write about whatever I think of to write about when I get up. But people seem to like it, so take a look at it when you get a chance.
Terrific blog, Monty. Thanks again for your time this week. Hopefully, maybe next year we'll figure out a way to get you up here to play at Captain Chuck's again or something.
Well, one thing that can happen is a book promotion can get me somewhere.
There you go.
Maybe I can tie something together.
There you
All
go.
right. Sounds great.
Let us know.
All right.
All right.
Take care, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Monte Dutton.
That's right.
Go to MonteDutton.com and follow Monty's exploits. And the book I've read, the first novel is a terrific novel. I'm looking forward. Beth and I talked to Monty up at Michigan last year. We kind of gave us a